Welcome, ghouls, demons, and fellow weird ones. Let's drink some moon juice. And as I said, if you watched the last video, we're going to be talking about my records here in my record bookshelf case situation. Uh, it was something that had been asked a long, long time ago. Right before I started writing for Rock Oracle. I think that was like the fun little nugget from one of my devout friends, followers, peeps on TikTok. Cause like, I've done the Moon Juice podcast, I've done my content, and like the record shelf is fairly new. Within since we moved to Nashville is when we got this and like this whole setup, which is really nice. We had to restructure some things. And so this is not something that's been like very active. Hi, good girl. What's up? This is not something that's been like super active in or presentable online. So it's something that maybe people don't know about me or they're like curious about. I know a few of my friends were curious about what it is that I listen to, what I have. And now I'm doing this music journalism. So who the fuck am I to be a music journalist? Besides just a huge fan of music my whole life, particularly since I've been 9 years old and found Green Day. That really kickstarted my life. You good? You listening? You want me to show you everything that's in our case? Huh? Yeah. Oh, good girl. What do you need? Do you need something? Okay. All right. So this little corner right here, these are mine. These are my records. All of this, and all this, and this. Did you made up? Hey, Suna, can you come lay down? You're in the way. Can you come lay down? Suna, please. I know. Lay down. Pretty please. You can lay down with us. Thank you. Perfect. That's a good spot. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I know. You're not happy about it. Brother's on the pillow. Okay. Sorry. Children. So, all of this, and all of this. So, I know he has it divided a lot more specifically than I'm probably going to share, but I'm pretty sure black metal. I know some of these are black metal. Are they all black? Is in this? Okay, so that's how I think it goes. Okay, so this is all black metal up here. I'm pretty sure this is like hardcore and maybe some death metal. There might be death metal mixed in here, depends on the band. And then here, I'm pretty sure is more of like the hardcore bands like Acacia Strain, Kubla Khan. Those would be the ones at the top of my head that I know he would have. You might have some Knock Loose, some stuff like that in here. And then over here is like country and like jazz, oldies, more. Oh, I would say unconventional. What I mean is like other. So this is his other shelf. This is his hardcore shelf. This is all black metal. Most of it is from Europe, to be quite honest. Chad. So it's funny. One of our I was it our first date. So I met my husband. Okay, I met my husband July 4th. And then we had a gym meetup date situation, like another assessment of one another, July 25th. And I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, because I know it was around that time. It was around the beginning. But I think it was that July 25th date that his gym friend Tom gave him all of this like black metal, death metal, like some Deicide stuff, was it Metal Hammer stuff? That could be wrong. What am I thinking of? Anyway, so like 70s, 80s, some like thrash metal, like those kinds of things. It's funny because like Tom, like he is all like bald and tatted up and whatever, super deep in the occult scene of like I would say the 80s, so Slayer, big Slayer like type of vibe. And he is like a born again Christian, I suppose. Or I don't know if I'm wording that properly, but like he found Christian faith. He still goes to shows like after like years later we saw him at a Deicide show. He knows the Deicide guys, whatever. I just found that all of that like really interesting. But whole point of like starting Chad with his record collection. This is how it got started. So like my husband's always been a huge music guy. He's always had CDs, but like vinyls, like, for a while those weren't like really a thing. Like it crashed because CDs, MP3, you mean blah blah blah. Now it's become this like collector thing that's kind of cool and hipster and trendy and kind of obnoxious. So that's why everything's like so expensive, by the way. And I kind of, well, I mean, it might be expensive no matter what, but just ridiculous. Anyway, Tom at our first like gym day, July 25th, not the gym day that I met Chad, the gym date when we were trying to see if we were actually serious about each other or if it was just like, you're cute and like, my pheromones or whatever. It was like, do I actually like you? Well, 5 hours later, yapping at the gym, I think that we liked each other. Because we did a little bit of lifting, but it was mainly talking, mainly yapping. Chad got a lot of his albums. And so anyway, it's been a huge, like, so this is what, 6 years? That was 2020. So 6 years worth of collecting things. I know some of this, most of these I cannot read. I know every so excuse me. I turned my throat weird. That is so crazy. I turned my throat weird to talk and like I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing. It like folded, folded with my vocal cords. That felt so wild. Anyway, that was crazy. Like, so the Pale Riders, that's like black country metal. It's like, it's an interesting, like Gothic, Southern Gothic country. I don't know. So I don't know why that's in there. I don't really know the order of things. I thought he explained it to me, but there's also so many. Could be different now. But anyway, 6 years in the making of his records. I know a little bit about the band. Like, I know about the bands in here. I know about the music in here. Um, but to go through all of this with everybody, not necessarily for me. Hold on. I will never, ever, and like sitting like that probably was a crazy walk away. I don't know if I'll ever like not get paranoid that I didn't hit the play button. Ever. Okay. Don't mind me. I'm 30 now. So getting up from the ground sucks. Not really. I'm just sore from yesterday. Anyway, moving on. So yeah. Anyway, if you want to know what all of this is, I can force my husband into doing an episode or 200 or 300 with me because we breaking down into all of this would be a lot. He likes to gatekeep music, so he probably isn't. He's an elitist asshole, which who wouldn't want to marry anyone else? Like, we are polar opposites and it adds to our balance quite nicely. So that's all of this. Like I said, a lot of underground black metal from Europe. There's stuff from Germany, Norway, Sweden, Spain, France, like Pest Noir, Peste Noir, French. Like it's some interesting stuff. But my husband's always been into like music, and this record collection has been in the making since I met him. Like I said, it happened like around the same time I was there. We might have already been dating because we started officially together 8/8/2020. And so it could have been sometime fairly recently after that. I know it was before my car accident in September. And why does all of this matter? Because this is a huge initiation and it goes back into what I was talking about in my other video of like things, spells, cessations can take years to like express and to come alive and whatever because of everything you have to go through. So like my husband has a lot of trauma and like experiences with his dad and his family and all these people not liking his obscure music. So, I mean, he's always like deep within it anyway, but for him in this initiation and all of that, you have to go through a lot of healing work, inner work to then like embody all of those things, right? And then the older you are, the longer you wait to do it, the more you have to do because it's just like it's deeper in there. And so yeah, so this is a lot of obscure music. There's so many different reasons why my husband loves each and every album and each and every band and everything within it. I really love listening to my husband talk about music. Like I said, I've always been a huge music fan, but this is Chad. This is my muse. This is my beloved. This is this is a passion that just inspires me to keep going. I really do enjoy music and I have my own relationship to music, but that he's a jukebox. He knows everything, even like bands and songs and stuff that you like either you wouldn't think that he likes or he doesn't like, you know that he doesn't like it, but he'll still know like every word. He has like an ear for things. He's taught himself how to play instruments by ear. He's just a really musically inclined human being. And I really love that about him, and he brings it out in me in a really cool way. Like, I love having a partner I get to go to shows with. I love going to shows. I love listening to music. I love dancing. My relationship to music is more on like the poetry side, collection of things that trigger something within me. They're usually a message. Like the poetry really voices how I feel. My experience in my life and I always felt like music spoke for me better than I could speak for myself. I feel like my voice was stifled quite a bit as a child and all of these other things. And so, when I started listening to music, I was really drawn to music that I felt like expressed what I wanted to say because I didn't have the confidence to say what I wanted to say. Believe it or not, I've always talked a lot. But that's where it goes into like, running the circles, tangents, because I'm trying to find the right way to say the right thing because me just being direct and carefree about my voice gets me in trouble. And people who have seen some of my blow ups on social media can understand like what I'm talking about. And so anyway, all of that just kind of goes to show where like music like differs between like my husband and I, but he would agree. He would feel like music speaks for him better than he could speak for himself. But I also feel like when I write poetry, it's, like, speaking how I wanna feel, and then, like, I hear music to my poetry. I definitely feel like I'm more of a songwriter. I love singing. I tried singing. I did choir. I did all kinds of things. I played piano. I wish I never quit piano, but, like, I no longer had a school that had a teacher, and so the keyboard that my mother did get me, I was left to teach myself, couldn't afford lessons. You can only teach yourself so much. Like, it was, again, before YouTube, all of these excuses, right? But all of this has just brought me back to myself, brought me and my husband back to each other, brought Chad back to himself through this connection of music. So Rock Oracle bringing people together through music, like I feel like music does that for everyone all the time. Most of my friends or people I've connected to have been through some musical inclination because like I said, I'm always at shows or whatever it is. I like having music on in the background. Music is like the soundtrack to my life. I like eclectic genres that kind of fit the vibe of whatever it is that I'm experiencing. Where my husband has a pretty consistent theme and standard, but at the same time, it's like he is a huge black metal fan. But he still listens to jazz and oldies and like all kinds of stuff that I think is really interesting. We're gonna get into what is considered mine. This little square is all mine. This is all my music and records that I collected because I had records before my husband did. I had a record player before he did. This is the one, this nice one he's invested in. I had one that was gifted to me by my grandparents. What is it? Do you need to go outside? Do we have to take a break? Yeah. You go potty? Okay. We will be back, folks. I gotta take the big girl outside. You wanna go outside, Vegas? Hmm? You feel better? Yeah, you feel better? Right, ready? Okay, so we're back. Miss Poopy. Yeah, oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, good girl. You feeling okay? Got a poopy puppy with an upset belly that I'm surprised she still has more coming out. Not to be gross, but my goodness. German Shepherds have very sensitive stomachs, don't you? Yes. Alrighty, back at it. Back at the record talk. So it was asked. It was asked what I have in my record collection. So we went over all my husband's stuff. So now we're getting into mine. Yes, big girl. Are you gonna let me do this? Yeah? Okay. Thank you. All right. We have the Sex Pistols, Spunk. It Has No Future on it, which is one of my favorite songs. I was at 17, or Feelings. I love Feelings. So this is original 1977 bootleg album, was what this one was. I got this, where was it? Florida. I got this in Tampa, Florida. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure this is when I went to go visit my friend Cody and his wife. Anyway, so I have Green Day, Dookie. Hold on. Hold on. So I'm pretty sure I have two of these. Yeah, I do. So I bought this one, opened one that's open. I bought for myself. I had this out of my, like, I didn't get a lot of records. There was a few moments where, like, I found a few deals. Like, a lot of the records that I have is because, like, I got a good deal on it, or I found it somewhere. I saw a lot of the record prices and I was like, you gotta be out of your fucking mind. Like, spending, I don't know, I think spending more than, like, and I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful or anything when I say this, but I think spending more than like $10 to $20 on a record is insane. And is also, I don't know, nowadays, like, a new record is like $60. And I get it, like, people get into the collector thing. Like, please don't misunderstand me. Fucking Christ, don't misunderstand me when I say that. I just, like, I think it's insane how expensive everything is. And so I was just like, I just couldn't justify spending that amount of money on a record, especially in my early 20s. And now how this makes me sound, but especially when I could stream it for $10.99 a month, and it's like, access to everything for this amount versus, and I get it, you want to support artists. Like, I don't want to sound too dense, but there were like choices I had to make. And like, I mean, I come from like a generation that I couldn't afford music, like getting CDs, like every ounce of music that I had, if it wasn't on the radio or YouTube or it's from a friend, I found on my own, and like through magazines, and then I would illegally download it from LimeWire, or like you could turn YouTube into MP3s. Like, there was a time where, like, you could get or burn CDs. You did burn CDs. I was just talking about this with my husband. Like, it was really hard for me to afford music. It's so, like, I had a limited like playlist. Like, I'm not as big of a jukebox as my husband is. That's because of the limitation of exposure to music that I had in my childhood for a variety of reasons. My mom had her taste. I was easily exposed to what my mom liked. I was not exposed to different things. I know my brothers, like, they had their own style of music. They didn't really share music with me, but I generally had an understanding of what they liked. But people just didn't seem to be as passionate about, like, music in the way that I was. Especially as far as talking about, like, oh, how it makes you feel and the symbolism and the artistry. Like, I really liked groups that I felt some type of art within. And Green Day, Elijah Armstrong, is a Aquarius. He's an Aquarius with an Aries moon, and that's all I fully remember from his chart. But there's definitely, like, deep artistry in Green Day, regardless of how you might feel about them or their music. You may not get it, or you may get it, you may not like it. You may still criticize it. I don't care. I really love Green Day. I could talk for hours just about Green Day. It was one of the bands that was my gateway drug into things. My mother really liked Wake Me Up When September Ends and Boulevard of Broken Dreams, of course. So she bought American Idiot, the album, hated the album. My mom, I think she still is pretty pro Bush. I don't know much about her political beliefs now. I know a little bit about it, but I ignore a lot of things because I don't care enough to identify someone with their politics personally. Like, I don't want to judge my mother for her politics. I don't want my mother to judge me for my politics. This is my birth mom. This is Dana. So my birth mother, Dana, got American Idiot. She's pretty pro Bush, pretty conservative, proud Republican. So she didn't really quite like American Idiot. Like the whole album. And so that's how I got my hands on it. I was obsessed. I fell in love with it. Through Green Day, I found My Chemical Romance. Through My Chemical Romance, I found Under Oath and The Used, Avenged Sevenfold. Through Avenged Sevenfold, I found Pantera. And I knew about Metallica. And then I so like reconnected to Metallica. And that just kind of like keeps going about like my introduction to music. So anyway, Green Day, American Idiot, was my was the initiation to my music life. Alternative edge and like was a huge awakening for me as a child. And I went through every, I found American Idiot and I backtracked to everything. Kerplunk, what the fuck, Slap Happy something or another. I can never fucking remember that title. But anyway, getting a Dookie vinyl was significant for me, and I found it for a really good deal. I think I paid like $17 for it. Was in my threshold, so I did. That's how I got this album. And how I got a second one was my husband was out. See, he paid fucking $23 for this. Oh, he is big on keeping stickers on things. Hate it. But I have it in the plastic. Haven't even opened it yet because I guess I preserve it. I don't know. There's little nuggets of moments in time. Where did he get this? 4/18/09 is when this was pressed. Fuck, dude. Anyway, but I didn't receive it. That's what the sticker says. But I didn't get this until 2022. Like my husband got this for me as a present. And that's the thing. He didn't then, but he didn't even realize that I already had one. And he's like, "You already have this? What the fuck?" And I was like, "Well, you didn't ask. I didn't know you were gonna try to surprise me with a fucking record. I would have told you that I had a Dookie vinyl." But he's like, "If you're gonna have Green Day record, you have to have Dookie." And we and we do. Is it in order? No, my things are not in order at all. Go see. Can I find it? Am I smooth enough to find it? Probably not. Cause with this album, he also got me, yeah, which I still haven't opened either. He got me Insomniac, which is another, oh, he paid $30 for this one. See, this is what I'm talking about. Ridiculous. It's not even a special release. So 3/19/21. So yeah, 21 is probably when I got both of these. So haven't opened it, preserved, keeping it crisp and collector edition. Not that it would be. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know why I don't open it, but I just haven't because I played that one that is already been played. So I preserved that one. And then I preserved this one as well. These are, like I said, they were presents for my husband. And this is one of my favorite Green Day albums. Not my absolute favorite, but what the fuck is it? Brain Stew. Thank you. I was like, tell me. Brain Stew is my favorite Green Day song. I couldn't remember the title, not because I couldn't remember it, but because I got distracted. My dad, Rob, who you all met in that podcast that I did with him, one of my guest podcasts, one of his top songs that he plays is Geek Stink Breath. And so anyway, we have a huge bond over Green Day that I think is really fun. But my husband got me both of these. And it just kind of goes into, I would love one of every like Green Day, like I would love a whole Green Day collection. I'm a huge Green Day fan. Just like isn't in the works. And like as much as I love collecting things, I guess there's so much accessibility to music that I don't prioritize. Well, it's not that, but like I could say that like, oh, I don't prioritize it, but there's so much accessibility to music. And I think that that's like a lie that I've been telling myself, because it's also a lie that like you hear like, oh, well, if you stream, you're just, lazy and you don't really support artists. So you hear all these hot takes and it's like, well, no, like so let's see, $10.99 a month. It's like about $130, like estimate, right? 120 for 12 months at taxes, blah, blah, blah. Let's just do 130. Let's just round at 130. Okay. So $130 for the year versus like some vinyls that I would want could cost me $130. Like some of the albums my husband wants, people are reselling it for like 500 fucking bucks. I don't care enough to get into the game, but I want to support artists at the same time. Like I want to have these and I love the record collection and whatever else, but I'm going to look at a garage sale. I'm going to go to a thrift store. I'm going to find a place that isn't charging a lot. So I don't think the places that are charging a lot, I don't think the artists are getting the money. I think it's going in the pockets of other greedy people. I don't know the resolution on the art thing. So to get on like a tangent about how I feel about paying for art, I think you should. I think it's important to support artists as a starving artist because that's another thing. Like I also I at this current moment in time, not for the rest of my life, but I've had a pretty impoverished life and I've had to really prioritize money and like what I spend money on. And people are like, oh, well, you'll spend money on this, but not that. And I've had that same disgruntlement in my own business. Like, oh, I see people spend money on this, but they won't spend money on me or they won't spend it, whatever. Like, what is the thing? It's a mindset, it's a culture. It's also just like what is valuable to you. Records are obviously very valuable to my husband. He always finds money to buy a record. And I don't stop him from that because I know what the connections and like I see the big picture of him buying all of these and the friends that he's made and that like livelihood within himself. A record doesn't do that for me. That's my difference with music. Music does that for me just by hearing it. I just like being immersed in music and however I have accessibility to that, I'm excited for. At the same time, I also think that at some point in the art piece's life, it has made all the money it's going to make and having it available for free, like the fact that Amazon, you pay a monthly subscription for Amazon Prime, and then you still have to pay for movies on Amazon Prime that are from like the 70s and 80s and even 90s, some even the 2000s. Like, I'm sorry, at a certain point, you made enough money off of that movie, can you please just like let people enjoy it or not for like maybe a dollar? Like I don't know what the like I said, I don't know what the solution is, but I feel like it's gone too far. And like I understand artists as an artist, I understand artists. You want to be paid, you want to live a certain lifestyle, like you like luxury, whatever. Do I think people are greedy? Yes. Do I think people steal? Yes. Like, I feel like we're all in between a rock and a hard place when it comes to music, to be honest. So it's quite devastating, but I don't have too many answers. I have some, but I also don't know if like they're the best or not. I don't know why I have this. Why do I have this? This is a Motley Crue record. My mom is a huge Motley Crue fan. What is this? Too Fast for Love? Is this their first album? Let's see. Don't quote me on that. Do. No, because this doesn't have. No, if you shout at the devil is like their first one. Yeah, $5. See, $5. I don't mind spending $5 on a Motley Crue album that I don't really care to have. I think I got my, like I said, my mom's a huge Motley Crue fan. I grew up with Motley Crue. I think this was just something fun to add. I think I might have wanted to give it to my mom. I don't know. It's so fun. So my mom grew up with this, right? And she thinks I'm the devil. My family has a really hard time with me being who I am. Cause like, I mean, I'm a genuine occultist. Like I've talked about hundreds of times, like none of this isn't all for show. Like I love art and I do think there's a lot of occultism within art. But then you have all these like bands from the 80s that they admit to doing this for like shock value and no authenticity whatsoever. But then you find someone or bands that are authentic about it, and then it's like you fucking freak out. Like people freaked out with like Motley Crue and stuff. Like I'm not saying I don't actually even know what a lot of their personal beliefs are. You could get into conspiracies about all of it, like oh, like they just said it was for shock value because they don't want us to know. And then, everything going on with Epstein nowadays, I'm sure people are having a field day with all of this. I don't know what's true. I don't know why they chose to. I know I've seen plenty of interviews where they talked about it being shock value and not really having any emphasis in it. Blah blah blah. Like even Slayers talked about like kind of doing some poser shit like that. Do I care? No. Is it artistic and fun and theatrical? Sure. Um, but in a world where we're confused on what's performance and theatrics and what's like authentic, I think we need to have like better boundaries. So transparently, I'm a genuine occultist and I love like all of this stuff, but I also actually do like read these books and execute what's in them. I'm not shy. I'm not trying to present myself inaccurately, and I don't want to make money off of being a fraud. I don't want to be the next Kat Von D. I don't want to be any of these people who have success on a lie. But Motley Crue's still fun. Like they still made fun music. They live wild lives. And if Dana could have married Vince Neil, I think she would have live the life of her dreams. So that one is this. Another Sex Pistol album. I think this one I got the same time I got the other one. This is called Hotel Chelsea. What the fuck is this? Some product carry-on Sex Pistols. I know. Sid Vicious is on here. I don't know much about this one. Doesn't mean anything. I just don't. I have a good memory and I have a bad memory at the same time. Especially when it comes to music. So that's another thing I've dealt with in my life is I don't remember. Like I'll know bands, I'll know songs, I'll know seemingly a lot and then seemingly nothing all at the same time. Like I'll confuse songs, I'll confuse bands, I'll confuse whatever. My husband's not so much that way. Like I think I just have a poor organizing system in my brain. Speaking of Slayer, so that's another that South of Heaven. So I have that album. This is a me album. I think I bought this on my own. Yeah, I don't. Oops. I don't think because like my husband, like I said, he got a bunch of different things from Tom. Chad got a lot of things from Tom, but I don't think that this is one of them. I think this is something I had on my own. Because like I said, I was slowly starting to get certain records, and some ones you just want to have that they're just fun to have. Like South of Heaven was such an awesome album, and just having it play, right? The album is called South of Heaven, isn't it? Pretty sure. Whatever. I don't really care. People can hate on my indifference, I guess. Purple Rain by Prince. No, this is like my mom, what her favorite album. She's a huge Prince fan. My mom introduced me to Prince. I really love Prince. When Doves Cry is my favorite Prince song. I love the Purple Rain movie, as cheesy and corny and ridiculous as it is. Everything about this album is just phenomenal. I think everyone should have it. So that's about that one. Oh, this is Sid Vicious. This is a limited edition, red, white, and blue tricolor. I haven't opened it, especially probably because it's a limited edition. I think I decided not to open it. So I talked about like I'm not big into collector things, but then like I don't open these things. I just will get called to have something at various moments in my life. I'm a firm believer, so like back to like magic and the occult or whatever. Sometimes certain things I'm a firm believer that you have to have just to absorb the energy or be in the presence of the energy. Why I would need this Sid Vicious thing, I don't really know. But when I got all my Sex Pistol albums, it was at a record store in Florida when I went to go visit my brother friend Cody. So Cody, I grew up with Cody and his sister Corey. I've called them my siblings. They're not blood related, but Cody and Corey have been like my brother and sister. So brother friend Cody, he moved to Florida. I went to go visit him. I know this was the first time I went to visit him. I went to visit him a couple times and he took me to this really cool record store. And I'm pretty sure that's where I got like all of these, and I was just like excited to have things because I had my apartment. I was living alone in Michigan. I had my record player out because I had this record player, but I couldn't really like because of the space of my room. I remember getting it for Christmas from my grandparents, and I didn't have space to really have it out. So like having it out and about in my apartment, really getting to curate my own world was really nice for me to have. And so these are all, I think, is this all like Sid's work? I think it's because it's not necessarily Sex Pistols stuff, but there is Sex Pistols, Sid Vicious, blah blah blah. I don't know. Anyway, I just really wanted to have this. I haven't opened it. I know I've listened to things on there like through other mediums. So, and I don't, sometimes I feel like I hold on to things to give as gifts. Sometimes I think I hold on to things again for like energetic purposes or what is that like telepathic reasons? Like a lot of books, there's like a lot of ritual belief that if you can meditate on a book and like telepathically absorb the energy and the wisdom of the book without reading it. Some people don't believe that, to each their own. But sometimes I feel the same way with like just having records, or like I said, things are in my possession for a reason. And I don't always know what that reason is. But I remember in that moment, I got every Sex Pistol thing that they had at that record store because I remember just being like, I don't remember seeing a lot of like Sex Pistol stuff. And like, I'm not like the world's biggest Sex Pistols fan, and I don't know every lyrics, every song, and tell me to name 5 songs, I can probably only name 3, and all of these, like, things, because you can't just, like something to like something. You can't just buy something to buy it. You have to prove yourself, especially as a woman in the metal punk scene. You have to prove that you're a loyal fan to every single one of these iconic bands, and that's overwhelming, which is probably also why I haven't opened it. Because I bought it, like, excited, and then I was like, "This is just gonna be something for me to prove myself to, so I'm not going to." And I don't know, there's probably a lot to unpack with all of that, and eventually, especially now we have, like, a really nice record player. Apparently, my Victrola, it's a all-in-one Victrola record player, CD player, tape player, Bluetooth, whatever, speaker thing that my grandparents got me. Apparently, like, the needles on it can be pretty bad, especially if, like, vinyls that you, like, really I learned a lot about, record players. Husband taught me. I thought my grandparents got me a really nice one, I really loved it. Didn't ruin any of my records, but my husband has opinions about it, so we don't use it anymore. So maybe now, like, my records will, actually get played. A lot of my records, like I said, they're just things that I love that were either gifts or I found, and, like, something within me told me to get it. And that's how I live my life. It's either a present or I had to have it for some unknown reason that my, like, gut wouldn't let me escape from. So as someone who really enjoys the Sex Pistols, who really likes punk rock and all of these other things, I haven't played all of my records. And I don't know everything about them. I think that we should find a way to live in a world where you don't have to be a super fan. Because that was something that's burnt me out my whole life. Because I remember, like, being a kid, back to Green Day, I had to be so loyal to Green Day. I couldn't listen to any other music, and I had to until I knew everything about Green Day, learned all their songs, and I knew their history, I couldn't move on to another band. Green Day was the first band I ever really, but so I listened to Britney Spears and then Green Day. That's the bridge, right? So I was obsessed like that with Britney Spears until I moved on to Green Day. And then it was just like this pattern, like I have to be a super fan. And I can't listen to anyone else until I'm a super fan. And that, like, categorizes me. This is my home because this is what I'm into. Same with, like, music or movies. Had to make The Nightmare Before Christmas my whole personality because that's, like, where my friends will be. And, like, these are things that you deal with as a kid. But I just remember feeling this, like, need to be loyal. And so I have phases, and that moves on into Slipknot. Slipknot was another big one of those, like, obsessive phases in childhood. This is the gray chapter. Actually, probably my least favorite. I don't know if there's another album after this one. I don't know if they've released another album after the Gray Chapter. Slipknot. I fell off after this. And I get it. This is like a grief album. Grief albums, I feel like, suck. Avenged Sevenfold royally did not do a good job with Nightmare. Have a lot of opinions about that. Same with, like, Slipknot's The Great Chapter. There are some songs I do like on here. I don't think it was a total, like, bust. Like, I really like Kill Pop. I like The Negative One. The Devil and I's fun. I really hate what TikTok did to Custer. Like, y'all can get wrecked on that. Like, I've experienced a lot of different things, but this was ordered for me. So this goes into a few things that I've gotten, I think. So let's see. I think I bought that one on my own. This one, I know these go into it. So these limited edition Stone Sour albums. Meanwhile, Burbank, straight out of Burbank. I thought there was a third one. So these were gifted. All of these were gifted to me. By a guy named Marty. So this was in I was 19, at 18 and 19, and I was just, like, active on social media, kind of starting. This was on Record Store Day, exclusive Record Store Day release. I remember all of this. Like, there's only like 300 of each of these released or whatever, the Stone Sour ones. Like, I'm not too sure. It isn't even open. I know I haven't played this one. But, like, the whole point of these is they were, like, exclusive things. They were presents from this guy, Marty, who I met on, I think it was Twitter is where he found me. And it was just a really difficult situation that I don't think I navigated appropriately. Learned a lot of lessons from that, and having, like, a public online presence as, like, a pretty girl. He wasn't weird. I was worried he might be weird. There was, like I said, there was a lot of things. I didn't know how to communicate. I'm kind of naive about a lot of things. I don't think I did right by Marty. I actually think it's, like, on a human level, I don't necessarily think that I treated him the best. I feel bad about that. I think about that every now and then, like, especially when I think about the albums, and I'm like, I didn't. necessarily want this guy to like just buy me stuff. Like I even told him like you don't have to, but he did no, I wanna get this for you. I got this for you. Like gorgeous. Like it was like it was my first like experience with like I guess celebrity or fandom, but like I also wasn't. Like I didn't know this guy. He found me online. Just like I'd interact with him, and I'm building this persona, this presence, and whatever. I was just Woman Crush Wednesday a few times, and I just thought it was flattering. And I kind of talked to him. I think about like where I obviously didn't lead him on, and then I think about where I did lead him on. And like I said, I feel like I didn't have the maturity or the like knowledge like I just didn't know how to handle that situation. So Marty, if you ever see this, if you ever keep up with me, sorry I just blocked you without actually having like a conversation with you. I Some of my friends told me I should just block you. Some people told like I said, I wasn't too sure. You did some really like sweet things for me, and because like I also was not used to like that kind of attention in any way. And so like that was really difficult. Like this was so nice to me, and all of these like meant so much to me, and I wanted them. So I was like, well, I want them. So I guess like, if you want to give it to me, like that's fine, which is kind of like a dumb girl way of handling things. But I also don't know if I was like clear. And like I've always wondered about that situation because like I don't know what page he was on, and I never asked for clarity. I just did the Aquarius thing and ghosted, and I don't necessarily think that that was good of me. It could have been. That's the other thing. Like I could have done the right thing for me. Like again, Marty, if you're watching this, I don't want to paint you to be a creep. That's why I'm being real delicate. Like I am been confused on that story in that situation since I was fucking 20 years old. And so like I know you talk to other women online, and like a lot of other women have been in situations like this. Like I've talked to a few other people. Some people think I did the right thing. Some people think I could have handled it better. I got these exclusive albums out of it. And I knew when I was talking about this, I just wanted to address that because it was definitely an interesting moment in my life. And I think it kind of goes into just not just boundaries, but like asserting yourself, and also I guess men in a variety of ways. But I definitely think I would have been like the villain in that story. And for a few reasons. So I guess I apologize for my wrongdoing. I guess I still stand on my actions by it. Like I did what I did. I can't take it back. Anyway, thank you for the albums. Thank you for the records. I love Stone Sour. Or I was a huge Corey Taylor fan. I'm not so much anymore. I definitely feel like Corey Taylor uh, he's going through some crazy midlife crisis with that cherry bomb bitch. And I don't know. I don't know the details. Every now and then something on my feed pops up because like Corey Taylor is my future husband, right? Like I would joke about that all the time. I was definitely really attracted to men. I still am. Still attracted to men like Corey Taylor with a thick jaw and grumpy, angry, aggressive, I mean, look at my husband now. Look at Chad. And you can you can understand my adoration for Corey Taylor, also like or my adoration for Slipknot. Because like I said, that was a huge phase of like my teens. Like high school was pretty big Slipknot. I would say Slipknot and Stone Sour. Corey Taylor was a big part of my high school. Avenged Sevenfold was a big part of my middle school. And Green Day was a big part of my late childhood. Britney Spears was a huge part of my early childhood. So every childhood developmental milestone had an artist. And I feel like that is something that is really special. And, it's just because I outgrew my inner teen who doesn't, like, I still listen to Slipknot. I still listen to Stone Sour. I just don't like any of the new stuff. And like I said, Corey Taylor doing his own solo thing. Just as an artist, I am no longer in alignment with him. And I guess maybe because I don't relate to him anymore. I hear he's making like dad rock. And when I listen to divorced dad rock, it's because my mother was going through a divorce. And I went through three. My mother was married three times and I went through three divorces. So I listened to like divorced dad rock and I appreciated it and understood it. There's a part of me that was going through it or living vicariously through it, like as if I was like my mother. Like there's a lot of different ways psychologically you can interpret that. And then I moved on. So now what am I listening to? a lot of black metal and and like pop music. You know, I'm listening to a lot of classics. I've gone through a lot of the things I listened to throughout my years in life. New music is really hard. I guess a lot of the newer bands that I'm listening to, I'm finding out aren't really new. Like my husband's introducing me to people. He'd be like, yeah, they're from the 90s or they're from the early 2000s or they're, you know, like he introduced me to a goth band from the 80s. What are they called? Dead in June or something. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. I don't know if I got their title together. And he's like, yeah, they're from the 80s. I was like, what are you doing listening to them now? That's just how he finds things. Like he finds new music lands in my path. That's how I operate. So, but I love music. Like I love experiencing it. So having someone who's constantly exposing me to it really inspires all of the musings that I write about. So I think that I do give my husband a lot of credit for like our dynamic duo, and how we like feed and fuel the fire within one another for our passions. Like he goes to shows, I experience the show, I live my life, and then I write about it. Like I'm a really good storyteller. And so again, back to like what I was saying and like the other part of like this video or like my reflection video before this one is like what are my talents? What is my role within this community? Like where do I shine in this community? I don't necessarily feel like I shine as a musician vocally. I'm not trained, so I would say I'm not like necessarily a singer. I'm a beautiful songwriter. I'm a beautiful writer. And I'm also a great storyteller. And I also have a lot of strength in tapping into people and seeing them for who they are. And that's why I feel like, you know, I tend to fall off away from artists when I feel like they're no longer authentic. I feel like Corey Taylor, feel like a lot of things within Slipknot, Stone Sour, and Corey Taylor are money and business driven, not art and passion and emotionally driven anymore. You know, which hey, when you're in the music industry for a while, at some point, sometimes you gotta prioritize money and you gotta do things for money. I think there's a balance in that. I keep trying to find it. I keep trying to make sure I don't sell out, but I guess the older I get, the more I understand why people sell out. And I'm understanding what selling out actually is and all of those fun things. So those are just like some of my insights about music and like the artists that shaped me growing up and like where they are now and all of that stuff. Which leads me to here's another Slipknot album. This is All Hope Is Gone. I really do like All Hope Is Gone. I think that that's like a phenomenal album. I'm trying what number is it? Is it on? Yeah, so it's, side C, second song, but, Gehenna, I think I say that right? That's probably my favorite, song. It's probably my all-time favorite Slipknot song, to be honest, but also particularly this album. This was I don't wanna say this was not peak Slipknot, even though this like, I really love this album. A lot of people say Iowa, and so here's the thing that pisses me off is I had an Iowa record. I spent $200 on an Iowa vinyl. Okay, and maybe this goes into my bitterness about, records, because one of the first vinyls that I bought was Iowa, $200, and I gave it to a friend who's like turned out to not be like a good. I was a better friend. I helped him more than he helped me. I feel like he took advantage of a lot of things. Don't fully know. Like, there's a lot that I don't know about that situation. But there are parts of me that's like, man, I should have fucking kept the album for myself. Like, I have a habit in life of not really doing things for myself, and that kind of goes into some of my purchases. Very few of these were like for me, in a lot of ways. They were um in alignment with other things, like other intentions for having it. And so like especially nowadays, my life has been if I'm gonna purchase something, like with it's for me, not like for the sake of having it, or like because like some things I felt like I was expected to have. That could also be where the Sex Pistols albums come in. Instead of just buying the ones that I know I like I wanted Spoke, I wanted this one. It has like some of my favorite songs on there. I got all of the Sex Pistol albums that they had. Why? Because they're hard to find. Two, like decent price point. Three, well, I'm kind of I'm expected if I'm this person and people come see me, they need to know that I have all this stuff, where it's like, well, no, I can still be authentic in who I am without having all of this fucking evidence. Like, 'cause all this evidence just takes up so much space, and then it just gets cluttered. And so, anyway, I don't know if any of that makes sense, but that's just kind of like where I've been in life, especially when it comes to figuring out how to express myself. Because I'm not trying to be a poser. Like, I don't have these things. So I'm just like trying to be cool. And I say all of that because, like, I dated a musician. For people who know, I dated a musician for like 3 years, like, situationship, create, like, whatever the fuck that was. But like, I just, especially like men, I don't feel this way with my husband so much anymore. He mainly just like teases me. But in my life, I have felt there is a need for me to prove myself within like the music industry and like my stance on music, what I like. I have a lot of Elwood syndrome. And so it's like, well, you can't be who you are. Still like the Sex Pistols, or still like Slipknot, or like any of these black metal bands. Like, because you're just this Barbie and you're this and you're that. And I tried leaning into that. I've tried everything to find a place where I belong, to quote Linkin Park, right? Instead of just not caring. Like, I feel so much better to like not care. And a lot of the inner work that I've done has been in like releasing myself, relieving myself, taking myself off the hook from that pressure to like convince somebody that I am who I say that I am. I'm really tired of proving that. And like that relationship with Christopher, it was just, I felt like I was constantly just having to be like, no, like, hi, this is who I am. And he like didn't believe me or agree with me. Like, I have dealt with being a poser so much because, like, oh, well, you like Britney Spears and you have this like girly pop attitude and you're this way and you're that way. So you can't be this complex human being. And in fact, you actually only like metal music because you wanna suck my dick. And it's like, yeah, no, actually, that's not why I like metal. And I don't only like metal because you're in a metal band and I think that that's cool. I like metal and I like musicians because like I'm an artistic person too. And I thought that you felt the same way about life that I did. So I've experienced a lot of crazy things in my life and that's also where I feel like there's also like not so much like a passion or a drive. It's like there's been a lot of what's the point essence in my life where it's like, oh, I buy this album and is what's the point of buying it? Or like I have it, what's the point of listening to it? Because it doesn't matter. Because like, alrighty, well, so my phone died, so that's what happened with that. So super fun. What I was getting at, I looked back at the video to try to figure out what the fuck was the last thing I said before I realized the phone died. So it's kind of talking about just really feeling like, oh, what's the point? Like, what's the point of playing this album? What's the point of buying this album? What's the point of being myself? Because it's all performative anyway. Like, I've felt like in my life, I'm just having fun. I'm just expressing myself. I'm just fucking trying to exist. And I'm just trying new things. I'm trying to figure myself out. I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying. And everyone's just, I don't know, making fun of me for trying, or calling me a poser because they don't think that I fit into this box, or they don't think that I belong here. They think it's ridiculous that I think I belong here, that I think I'm somebody, whatever the situation is, where it's like, no, like, I think I have a right to be here just as much as fucking anybody, no matter what the situation is. And I think if you genuinely enjoy things and are being respectful, like, if you're not there to cause a problem, I don't see what the problem is. But my presence in certain spaces and certain scenes has seemed to be a problem. Like being in the music industry, like thinking that I could break into the industry in any way just seemed like laughable. And I wasn't with Christopher for that opportunity. I thought it was just like an alignment. All right, you're cool. You're a musician. You're doing your thing. Blah blah blah. I am going to school and I'm working 5 jobs and I'm getting my degree. And then like this OT job is going to pay for me to pursue my writing career. And, anyone I meet along the way is just gravy. I do think that, like, sometimes I wonder if, like, Christopher thought I was, like, using him for an opportunity. That's been another thing that's been, like, a theme, especially as I've been, like, meeting people and networking. Like, I've heard a few people talk about social climbers, and I was like, I understand, like, not wanting there to be a social climber. Like, there are those awful people who are inauthentic, who don't belong here. They're just, like, energy vampiring everybody. And sometimes I wonder if that's how people view me. And like, I've never wanted to be viewed that way. It really stresses me out because, like, dude, like, I'm not, I show up, if I show up to something, it's because I love it or I'm there to support somebody that I love. And so, like, I love metal, I love music, I love concerts. So I went to every single Top Deck show that was around because I wanted to keep the music scene alive in New Mexico and I wanted to have fun. I wanted to rock out. Like, I'm always like having music on in the background. And so it wasn't being performative because a lot of things were new to me because I'm kind of awkward, I'm shy, like, or I was just what's like, I guess, amazed or excited that this was happening to me. Maybe I didn't handle it properly. Maybe my excitement got in the way. Maybe my childlike demeanor ruined everything where people thought I was too naive. I don't know what the situation was, what the problem was. And I just felt this like disconnection and misrepresentation between my intention and my purpose, my reason for being present, and how people perceive me. And so all of this is fun, like, to reflect upon because it's, like, different things in, like, my albums and, like, even, like, the things that I write about now, like this album here, I bought this is when I talk about, buying something for myself. I bought this. I bought this for me. Do not give a fuck what anyone has to say about it. I was so excited to get this resurrected, 100 something fucking dollar, like, box bundle thing of Waking the Fallen by Ben Sevenfold. Waking the Fallen by Ben Sevenfold is one of my favorite fucking albums. I do think City of Evil is their best album, and I think, like, so many people would argue that. Um, but this is one of my favorite albums. It's a super meaningful album to me in a variety of ways. I don't know, I could go on and on about Waking the Fallen. So this was something that I bought for myself that was, significant, and this is, like, these are little, like, vinyl things that my husband buys all the time. You know, he gets, all the, like, the artwork and all of the extra funsies of all kinds of things, and, I just always thought that that was, like, I love all of his bundles, like, you can see some of them. And so this was, like, the one I got this for myself. I think right before I met my husband. I don't think I got this with my husband. I don't think he was around. I don't think we were together. I try to remember. Does this have a date on it? Yeah, uh I don't know. I honestly don't remember. But this was just like this was something really special to me. Avenged Sevenfold shaped a lot of my self-expression in a lot of ways. What I thought was really cool about Avenged Sevenfold is they were deeply inspired by Metallica, and they set an intention to be the next Metallica, and they did. They followed that path, like, almost to a T, all the way down to a band member dying and losing their sound. Sorry. I don't wanna be shitty because I have a lot of love and respect for Avenged Sevenfold. Not a lot of people do. That's, like, a controversial band to be a fan of for a variety of reasons. I don't care. I like their what is it, the White Album. See, they even have, like, the White Album, not the Black Album, the White Album. But I love their drive. And Shadows is a Leo. The drummer, the Rev, Jimmy, who died, he was an Aquarius. So I think that there's, like, some magic within that. There's a lot of spiritual symbolism that goes into it. Do I think that, like, I think maybe I relate to them as I'm talking about this whole, like, poser thing. A lot of people think that they're posers. Are they? Maybe. You know, one of my most disappointing moments is when I watched an interview with Zachy Vengeance. I have a hots for Zachy Vengeance and Sinister Gates. All right. Like, I love a good, like, grungy, messy man with some slutty eyeliner. Like, My husband could never, by the way. It's so funny. My husband's very much like hardcore black metal, serious, like military Viking type dude. So he could never do like the scene goth, messy vibe. That's just not his vibe. But anyway, Zachy Vengeance, he made a comment that one of his reasons for getting into music and playing guitar and being like in like being a rock star was he wanted to get laid. And that just like devastated me. I remember feeling like I got the ick. I got the ick so bad and I hated that. But I love Shadows Matt. I liked Matt and his lyrics. I thought the creative process about the rev was spectacular. I do think Sinister Gates, Brian, I do think that he is amazing guitarist. You cannot deny his talent to any capacity. I don't know much about bass, so sorry, Johnny Christ. I am because my ex is a bass player, I massively talk shit about bass players. But Peter Steele was also a bass player, so we can't talk too much shit, but he plays like a real cool large bass and he's like 7 foot tall. So. But anyway, I think like maybe that's where I've related with Avenged Sevenfold. A lot of people call them posers. A lot of people don't feel like they belong in a lot of different spaces. They might feel homeless, but like I remember this, I'm pretty sure it was Sinister Gates who said this. It could have also been End Shadows. It even could have been Johnny Christ. I'm trying to envision who fucking said this, pulling it deep from my psyche. But they said, you may not like us, but Metallica thinks we're cool. And so I'm not losing sleep or or I feel successful or I could go to like whatever, however whoever it is that said that concluded that thought. And I remember thinking about like, their heroes think that they're cool. I think they toured or maybe played a couple of shows with Metallica. I can't remember how the full circle moment hit, but I remember they might have been in an interview on like that metal show. I used to watch that metal show a lot on VH1, and then Shadows was on there. And this was after Hail to the King. This was like pretty like they're like late in their career or more modern, I should say. It was when in my early 20s. I guess not so much. It's been 10 years. This is like when I was in my early 20s, but so maybe them Shadows said it on that metal show. But yeah, like anyway, just being inspired and pursuing the path and reaching the success. Like I said, I do feel like there is like some like authenticity within them. I don't think a Leo Aquarius duo could create something inauthentic. Like genuinely, I don't think it's like within their system. And what I love about that for me is like I'm an Aquarius and Leo. Jason is my Leo and Rock Oracle. And so I think that, again, that dynamic duo, I think is fucking vital for creativity. And that's where I feel like Avenged Sevenfold, you can see where they started to go downhill. I talk about grief albums. I brought up Nightmare. I feel like that was just kind of messy, but you can tell that there's something missing. And that's why like I respect bands like Type of Negative who refuse to make music or do anything with their frontman gone, with Peter Steele being dead, because like there is no Type of Negative without Peter Steele. I don't believe there is an Avenged Sevenfold without a Rev. And I think that that shows in their music. And like I have like all kinds of other opinions on why I think that they just kind of like fell off. Same way I have opinions about Corey Taylor, but they're still making money. They're still doing what they love. And I could only be so lucky to be able to be on a path where people are questioning, I guess, my drive for the music anymore. I don't know, because like they still have success in it. And it's not that it's all about the money or whatever, but I have issues with being perceived as successful because people are constantly questioning my authenticity. But perhaps maybe that's just a part of the gig. You know what I mean? And I'm going to continue to generate the success that I have. I'm going to continue to be on my path, regardless of what other people say or think. Because obviously, they made all of these bands, all of these people that I criticize. They obviously carved out their little neck of the woods and they're living happily ever after in the way that they have been set to live. And like that's what I mean. Like I could only be so lucky to have that like fully secure carved out realm that I get to rule because it's mine. And so, artists like Avenged Sevenfold, they've obviously cultivated that. Slipknot's cultivated that. The Sex Pistols, everyone has like their realm of things. But as like I've gotten older, I've and become an artist myself, I've realized where you fall victim to industry plants or like inauthentic people like Dave Grohl, and like you get into the whole Nirvana conspiracy theory, and like it's just kind of fun to me how like life, no matter what medium you're within, it all kind of has similar cliquish experiences, and there's going to be an adversarial force no matter where you venture. And so you can't worry about it too much. And I get stuck in the questioning because like I really want a like calculable quantitative structure to prove I am who I am and I am successful in all of these things. And instead of just being who I am, which I mean I've just been myself, but mentally, internally, etc., all of the above, I've realized that there are moments instead of just being who I am, the more I try to prove myself, the more of a poser I fucking look like. It kind of has the opposite effect. And so I've been screaming at people in bravado, like, see me, see me, see me, instead of just allowing people to see me. And I think that also goes into like realms of control. Because I'm like, I want you to see me in a very specific way instead of making your own opinion, because your opinion is wrong. Just like I'm sure everyone thinks that my opinion about them is wrong, but probably not because I clocked you. I am pretty good at clocking people. So that goes into, Misfits legacy of brutality. My legacy of brutality, clocking people. So this one I got for myself. I'm a huge Misfits fan. My baby boy Doyle was named after the Misfits, Doyle von Frankenstein, but also Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes. Huge Misfits fan. I think I have a few Misfits albums. This one is what? This is just a compilation. Like, what is this? This is not mine. Is this? No, Chad got me something. I don't know what this is. Hold on. I will have to BRB. I don't know what that is. Crazy, got a present. So yeah, anyway, these are my Misfits albums. These are the two that I have. I would love to have all of the Misfits albums. I'm a huge Danzig fan. Talk about another cheese ball. Again, like I'm not against people being for aesthetics, not against people being for theatrics. I just want people to be transparent about like Alice Cooper, I feel like is pretty transparent. He's like, these are my beliefs, this is my life, this is my structure, this is who I am, this is where I came from. Another Aquarius, by the way. Alice Cooper and I, one of my favorite artists, him and I share a birthday. We are birthday twins. So love that. But he's real honest about who he is and where he came from, and he is pretty honest about like the theatrics and the art in his expression. And so I'm trying to be honest and vulnerable about my theatrics, but also my very genuine belief structure that is educated. Like I didn't just take a bunch of psychedelics and come up with all these like crazy conclusions. Like I'm fairly well studied. You can see by not only my records that are historical, but my books that have historics and like all the rabbit holes that I've gone down. I've been down this huge rabbit hole of authenticity, what it means to be authentic and how to be myself. Like the biggest question is like, who am I? And I feel like my music really expresses a big part of that question, or it answers a big part of that question. Because there's so much of myself within the music and what I hear, especially lyrically, poetically, transmutively. I don't know if that would be like the right word, but um just how accurate like the sounds are in representing a moment in my life. There's been so many times where a song is playing while I'm in my head about something and I feel like it's a divine message. Like there's so much of my spirituality that can't be denied in a big part of me. And I know not many people are either transparent or clear or devout in their spiritual or certain about their spiritual beliefs. I think some people grasp onto belief structures. I think like there's it's a whole complex conversation of everything, but my connection to music has been deeply spiritual and ritualistic since I was a little girl. Especially in reflection, I can see that now. And like all the Pisces energies, so I have a Pisces Venus, I have a Pisces Saturn, midheaven. They're in the 10th house. Do I have another Pisces placement? I think it's just those two. But they're both in the 10th house. So, well, it depends if you include the midheaven to be like a separate thing, because the 10th house is the midheaven. I don't know. It depends on how you want to get involved in it, astrologically, theoretically speaking. So anyway, but I'm also seeing, because Pisces is a spiritual sign on top of music. I don't think, not just music, but art. And so there's a lot of artists that have said that you can't separate spirituality from art. And I agree with that. Even if you choose to express yourself under a certain aesthetic, even if you are an industry plant, even if you are this special and curated business model in the industry, there is a level of ritual and spiritualism that has to be incorporated. And I think that that can indicate a lot of people's karmic trajectory of their path. And that's kind of what I talk about in like Rock Oracle. You know, like, hey, if you genuinely want to be a musician, you want like authentic success and like there's legacy. Like, what do you want your legacy to be? This is, so I interpret a lot of that. Sometimes it's only through people's sun sign because that's all they share. But I really do. Every time I find an artist and I dive into their birth chart of some kind, like you can see that expression of themselves, even in the persona or the character, the theatrics, the bravado, the performance that they put on. So even if I've been a poser, performative bravado, blah, 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 it's hinting at genuine aspects deep within my soul. And for me, especially in this modern age, I feel like it's important for us to be just very blunt about those things. I think a lot of elder artists, they've like, oh no, like I'm not actually into that stuff. It's all for shock or for show. Do I think some people are exploitative and greedy in that way? Yes. Do I think a lot of people say that to save face? Yes. I don't care about either. Burn me at the stake, stone me. I've apparently in all my past lives have been through it all. 'Cause I have this severe witch wound that I do. But I do think that there's magic in everything. And the music that I've listened to has just been a breadcrumb along that way. It's always redirected me to these darker, deeper emotional themes of life. And a lot of the artists that I do listen to, they have significant Leo, Cancer, some Aquarian, a lot of Pisces, some Aries energy, which I find really interesting. But there's Capricorn. Oh, there's a lot of Capricorn energy in a lot of the music I listen to, which I also find that to be like significant in itself. So I do think like, and then you look at my birth chart and I see like, oh, so in my birth chart and in their birth charts, they create this kind of music. I like this kind of music. We have synastry. This is like an area where I belong. But then just because you're in the same aesthetic doesn't mean that everyone likes each other. Like just because you're a German Shepherd doesn't mean every German Shepherd is going to like you. And it doesn't mean you're going to like every German Shepherd. Right. So that's kind of where I've been with like this music journey of, try to again prove myself and fit in and like show that like this is who I am and I belong here too. See, I have no idea what this is. Megaton, not Tron. Megaton Leviathan. I don't know anything about this. 94 out of 108. It came from Grimies for $8. Did my husband get this? I don't know. I don't know what this is, but it's a present. He put it in my cabinet, so it must mean something. I'll listen to it and be initiated and we'll find out. Maybe I'll write a review on it. I don't know. It's signed. Does my husband know he put this with me? Celestial Limited Edition. This is dangerous. I'm terrified actually. If this is something for him, I shouldn't be touching it. My husband's real particular about his music. Um, and he's grumpy, but he's not a dickhead. Like, well, he's a dick, but he's not a dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can play music whenever I want. I can play whatever record I want. He tells me all the time. I don't know why you don't just play the record player, da 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 da. Because I will wait. I make even when it comes to my own records, if we play it, I make him do it. I hate touching that thing. I'm so stressed about it. Um, and it's not because he has punished me in any way, shape, or form. It's because I know how much he cares about it, and I know how much of a klutz I am. So I just don't need to ruin the expensive thing that my husband is deeply passionate about. I'm gonna say the best for last. You might be able to see it. So then these records, these are new. These are my newest editions. Jason gifted them to me, by the way. It is Led Zeppelin 4, Downward Spiral, Nine Inch Nails, which love having both of these. Love having a record of both of them. I think this is like a special edition repress or something. Let's see. Says 2017, but that's the copyright. Is that when this came out? I don't know. I don't know. Don't know. Don't quote me. Don't quote me on fucking anything. Like, I'm real bad at now, like, as good of with dates as I am, certain things I just don't have the space to remember. There has to be a story attached to it. And so, like, I can remember astrology, like people's birth charts really well because there's usually a story that's attached to it, and I can retell many stories. Oh, like, but I doesn't mean I can tell them perfectly. Like, imagine trying to summarize every book you've ever read or every story you've ever been told, and then people getting mad at you because you fucked up a date. It's like my memory is actually pretty good, but then it's like it's always the one thing I don't remember or the one time I slip up. Like the internet has proven to me that if you're not perfect, then you're fucking a peasant or pathetic or whatever. It's like God, fuck. No one's ever forgotten anything. No one's ever misspoken. Everyone else is just perfect, and like if they want to attack you, they fucking will. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So no, I don't know every song. No, I don't remember every detail about every band or everything. And yes, I do look stuff up. That's part of journalism, is you verify the facts. And I'm not going to base everything off of memory just to try to prove myself when the internet is easily available to make sure that it's right. And then if I look it up enough times, or if a meaningful experience imprints on my brain, then there we have it. So, ooh, save the best for last. I did open this one. This is a record my husband got me that I have opened and I have played. Why? 'Cause I love it. This is my favorite Type of Negative album ever. Bloody Kisses. My husband found it. He goes into the record store like weekly and sees what they get. And I think this time, I'm pretty sure I just like sat in the car. Like we were just stopping by there really quickly on our way to do. I don't remember, but I was just like, I wasn't present. He came into the car and was like, I got you something. I was like, oh my God, you got me something? What? And it was this. And because they did some re-releases. These are like, talk about like records that are hard to find. Typo negative or expensive if you find them. They can be expensive, especially if you get that like some original presses and stuff like that. This is a re-release. Like an anniversary of some sort. They released two other albums too, like October Rust was one of them. And so anyway, he was like, I thought about it, but these were like $40, $40. And he was like, so I only got you the one and I got you this one because it's your favorite. And I was like, yeah, I would much rather have this than October Rust. But I would also, if it's an option, I would love to have both. But I don't, I just have this for now anyway, until our record collection builds. Cause a lot of these are expensive hobbies. And so it takes time. That's another thing. I've learned that it takes consistent time and dedication. My husband did not buy all of these all at once. Well, some of them he did actually. Like it seems like a lot of his friends release albums like all within the same month, and then we get like a whole batch of them. But like it's just a consistent thing. Like, hey, at least once a month we get a new record. Like and they're all from Europe. So then like it also depends on when customs gets in here and things of that nature. But yeah, I have other albums that like are random. that like this well, I gifted this. I gifted this to my husband, but I got this for him. This is Bach, Sebastian Bach, organ works. I like classical music. Johann Hummel. I'm pretty sure it's Johann. Um, and then I got him some like World War II music, which I thought was really fun. Yeah, we have German Shepherds, so it's fun to play World War II music when they do things or whatever the situation may be. But yeah, so these are all the records. I'm not too sure if that's exactly if that answers the question, but like this is what I have in my record bin. These other records, I technically I could say I co-own. I don't. These are my husband's through death, divorce, and all of the above. But this is his ownership. No, this is my ownership. Honestly, he probably wouldn't even want to take my record. Well, there's a few. He likes the Misfits. He likes the Sex Pistols. He wouldn't be against all of my records, but he definitely rolls his eyes at my bin. Not just for how little it is, but for, oh, it's Hellhammer. That's what I think. I said Metal Hammer like hours ago in this podcast. It was Hellhammer. That's what I was thinking of when I misspoke or whatever. But anyway, these are my albums. These are my babies. And I want to have more records. I genuinely do. When the finances work out and I, just have frivolous spending money, I love shopping. So that's another part of the problem. I'm not like the best saver in the world. Also building a business in this economy, like whatever it is, like I'm not shy about my horrific financial status in life. But I do think there are moments for wealth and there are moments for poverty, and both of them teach you something. And also, like, if I've learned anything, especially because we're talking about this is Taurus season, right? So all the Taurian themes, which includes money, includes my second house, right? I've learned a big part of like the financial issue is just like the direction or intention of money. I think intentional spending matters. So if you intentionally buy something frivolous, I think that it means more than people who buy things. Well, I have money and I can buy it, so I'm going to. Everything that I had bought in limited fashion is more meaningful to me than having millions of dollars and just being able to swipe a card when I want it. And I think everything comes to me divinely, and then like that just kind of carried over into how I want to manage like the success that I'm like creating, that's pulling in, that's like in my future, it's right at the fucking door, like all of this stuff that's coming in. It's like, okay, well, what were your money lessons? All my money lessons were that just because you have money doesn't mean you need to spend it. It doesn't have to burn a hole in your pocket, which those are like other things I was told growing up or whatever. But at the same time, if it buys something meaningful, it's money well spent, and it's okay to let it go, and letting that guilt go of like, well, if I didn't have desires, if I didn't have wants, if I didn't have needs, then I would have money and life wouldn't be sucky right now. No, don't guilt yourself for having needs or wants or desires or anything in between. Um, because I also think that could be a money blockage. But, and then again, when you do have the money, make sure that what you're supporting goes into something that is going to be equally fertile and abundant. Like don't let it just go to like a landfill, go into nothingness, go into waste. That's where I say like thrift stores, things like that. Like we don't necessarily, we might need some represses. Okay, but we don't need more represses. We need records to be affordable. We need music to be accessible. We need collectible hoarders not to be charging $500 for a vinyl that's partially scratched, or even if it's in mint condition and not opened. Like music is meant to be consumed, art is meant to be enjoyed. And so while I want to make money and I believe everyone deserves to make money, I also feel like there's a better balance to all of this. And I think it has to do with big business, corporations, and people getting into things for the wrong reasons. So I've learned a lot. Learned a lot about money. I've learned a lot about art. I've learned a lot about these Taurian themes that accent, spotlight, highlight whenever my Leo moon, which is why I voiced about it. So these are my lessons. This is what I've learned in my life and how I've been directing things to move forward with everything. So I guess like I want to consume more art, but I want to be more intentional about what it is that I consume. I want to experience, I want to live, I want to love, but I do not want to um poison myself with gluttony. And that, like I said, like that kind of like that goes into like the Sex Pistols. Like buy what I actually love. Like buy the one album I really, really fucking love, even if it's a bootleg album, and don't buy something that you're not even sure that you need or want. Like maybe research it and then go back to it. But at the same time, like I said about the Sid Vicious one, there's something within me that was like, fucking buy it. So this might have some hidden value that I'm unsure about in my future. And it could be maybe I connect to the right person at the right time to gift it to. Or maybe at the right time, the right place, I'll open it and I'll hear something play and it will give me the answers that I need at that moment in time. Regardless of all the wisdoms that I've learned from the decisions I've made, if I've learned anything, is to trust the process and to stand 10 toes fucking deep on every decision that I've made because it will lead me to where I need to go. So anyway, with all of that, that's my record collection. This is my record collection. This is our record collection. And here is to many more years of collecting music and diving into the weird world that is the muse. So take care, everybody. Thanks for drinking some moon juice, and I will talk to you next time. Whoa, stiff. Oh, I guess I could have let you just be your thing.